Hello guys, welcome back to our channel again. Today we will solve the 13th question of June leetcode challenge. The question is largest divisible subset. We have given an array and we have to find a subset such that each element of the subset is divisible by each other. Now we have to find a subset which is having the maximum elements. In this case, there are two elements in this answer. If we take example of this lower example, we have many subset. 1 comma 2 is one subset, but it has only two elements. We can also write 1 comma 2 comma 4. Each element is divisible by each other, so this is also a subset, but this has length 3. But 8, which have length 4, has a maximum number of elements, so the answer will be 1, 2 and 4. So we have to find a subset which have maximum number of elements. So for solving the question, we will take this as an example. So what we have to do, we have to make subset of this array in such a way that the subset we get is the largest subset and each element should be divisible by all the elements in the left of it. So what I'm trying to say is, suppose I want to select some elements. So what can I select? I can select 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 12, because 1 is divisible by 2, 2 is divisible by 12. So both these are divisible by 12. Now we can choose 3 because 3 is divisible by 12, but 3 into is not divisible by 3. So we will not choose 3 in this case. So let's try for 10. If we choose 10, 10 can't divide 12. That's why we can't use 10. Now when we go to 9, we can't use 9 also because it does not divide 12. We cannot use 8 because it does not divide 12. But we can use 6 because it divides 12 as well as it divided by 2 also as well as for 1. So in this case, what is the largest subarray? It will be 1, 2, 6 and 12. So what we have to check after this, that each element of this array should be divisible by the smaller elements in this array. Suppose 12 should be divisible by 12 should be divisible by 6, 6 should be divisible by 2, 2 should be divisible by 1, whereas 12 should be divisible by 2 also and 1 also, means all the elements should be divisible by each element. They should be divisible by this. So first of all, for doing this, we will sort the array. So after the sorting, the array will be 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 6 comma 8 comma 9 comma 10 comma 12. So after sorting, the array will look like this. So we will now consider this as a question and we will solve this. First of all, remove this. Now we have question as this. So we have to make subsets of this array. Now we will consider this as a question. So before solving the question, we must know that which approach we are going to discuss. So in this question, we will apply dynamic programming approach. So we will use dynamic programming approach in this. We all know the basics of dynamic programming, that what is dynamic programming work. Those who don't know, I will explain them. So what dynamic programming do? Suppose dynamic programming is at this index, so dynamic programming will relate all the elements with this initially. Then if it will be there on 2, then it will relate all the elements in front of this and will easily relate with this also, because this is related with these all. Now if we come on 3, then it will relate with this and it will simply relate with this also. So what dynamic programming do, it does follow with the use of one loop only. We can assign the values to each indexes. So using dynamic programming, this becomes easy. So mainly dynamic programming is used where we have lots of combinations. Here we have many combinations, so we have to find the best combination. So for that we are using dynamic programming. So before going into the code, we will understand the approach, what we will do in the solution. So for this we will use a DP array DP, and initialize all the values of it by 1. So what DP will store? DP will store the number of elements such that this element is the maximum element of a subset, which is the answer. So for 1 there is no subset exists, so it will be 0. For 2 it will be 1 because 2, 1 is a one subset. In this, one element or a pair of element is there. For 3 also same, 1 will be there. For 6 it will be 2 because 6 has pairs 6, 2, 1 and 6, 3, 1. So both have 3 elements, so 3 minus 1 equals to 2. Now for 8 we have also 2 because for 8 we have 8, 2, 1. So for 8 we have this combination. For 9 we have again 2 because it have 9, 3, 1. So for this also 2. For 10 we have again 2 because it have 10, 2, 1. For 12 we have 12, 6, 2, 1. So it will be storing 3. So what DP will store? DP will store the number of elements in which the number exists as the maximum element as a subset. So in this case the answer will be the most element, which will be 3. So the answer will be 12, 6, 2, 1. One more answer will be there. Suppose if we consider here 3, this will be also a correct answer. So we have these 2 answers, any of them will be true. So here I am considering 2 as a answer. Now I will solve this question, that how DP will be doing and how we will print this using DP. Now we have 3 elements. We know that 3 elements are there, but how we will print these 3 elements? So for this we will take a help of a array which is known as parent, which will store the index relation with the previous indexes. Suppose 0 is divisible by 0, 2 is divisible by 0th index, 3 is also divisible by 0th index, 6 is divisible by the least, means the distance which is divisible and it is minimum. So in this case 6 is divisible by 3 as well as 2. So we can take any of the example, but in this case I am taking 2. For 8 we will take 1 because it is divisible by 2. For 9 we will take 2 again. For 10 we will take 1, and for 12 we will take 3. So after constructing this parent vector, what it will do, first of all we will check it the answer. So answers index is last index, so I will again go last till here. So last index is 3, so we will go to the third index. So third index is here 2. Now from here I will go to the 2 index, and then from here I will go to the 0 index. So what I will do, I will print every visited indexes. Suppose in this, first of all I have gone to the last index, so I will first print 12. Then I went to the third index, so I will print 6. Then I will go to the second index, so I will print 3. And then at last I will go to the 1, so I will print 1. So this is 2 main arrays which we are going to use. So now if we look at the code, so this is our code. So in the starting we will sort this array using this. So let's remove this. At the starting I have initialized a DP vector which will store the number which before only I have told. Answer will store the answer, final answer, and parent will store the relation. Now from here the main code comes into the action. Now what I am doing for every index, for parent 0 index I have before only told you, because I have initializing it with 0 because 1 have no sub elements exist in its starting. Now I have initialized count max, which will count the number of elements that maximum exist. So initially it will be 1. So for the answer index, for pointing the answer which have maximum values, so in that case I was taking 3. The 3 will be stored in this answer index. So now from here I have initialized or starting the loop. So we will look at this. So first of all we will declare all the variables here. So first of all I will declare a dp. So dp will be 11110 at starting. Answer will be nothing. Parent will be initialized with zeros as first index. Count max will be initialized with 1. Answer index will be initialized with 0. These are the sum of the first initializers. Now we will iterate over all the elements and we will check that which element should be taken or not. So first of all I will start iterating from i0 and i's first index. Why I am iterating from i's first index? Because first element, we all know that first element does not have any less element than this, so it will not form any subsets. So after this I've initialized val with 0. Now I've initialized num for checking the indexes or for checking the divisibility condition. So in this case it will be initialized with 2. Now I have initializing parents indexes, so it will be initialized with 1. So why I am initializing it with 1? Because 2 initially itself is divisible by 1 only, so that's why I am initialize it with 1. Now what it will do? It will first go over all the conditions or all the element which is less than this. For this I have initialized j equals to 0, and first it will check the condition that j is less than I. So in this condition it becomes true. Now I will check that if then I will check that if the condition of num. So after checking that condition that j is less than I will check one more condition, that if num percent the current index of array's current index is divisible by each other or not. So for this I will use this as a command. So in this case what it will be, 2% 1 equals to 0, so the condition becomes true. So now it will go further. Now after this first condition check, what it will do, it will check one more condition. It will check val is less than dp's j index. Now why we are checking this condition, we will see this at the end, because in between it will do some interference, and then we will just check that why it is interfering and what are the benefits of this. So here it becomes true because val equals to 0 and dp's j index is 1. So this condition becomes true. Now val will be initialized with 1. Here val will be initialized with 1. Now j is equals to 1. Now val will be initialized with 1. After that we will initialize or change the value of parent as the indexes, because it will divisible by 1. So I will replace 1 by 0. That's why I have done this thing. Now after that it will check one more condition, count max is less than values 1 index. What it is doing, it is just checking the maximum number of sets. So in this case till now we have one element which have maximum number of sets. Now what here, val is 1, so val is 1 here. So val equals to 1 plus 1, so it will be 2. So 2 is greater than count max. So count max will be changed by 2 and the index will be changed by 1. Now what this 1 will point, 1 is pointing this parent index 0. Now after this at the end dp's variable is changing, so dp's I index is changing. Here I have changed the dp's I index. Dp's I index will be changed by val plus 1. So before this, one more time the loop will run. So for j equals to 1, the loop will terminate because j is less than I. So it is not less than I, so the condition becomes false, so the loop will not occur, and now dp will be updated as val plus 1. So val is 1, 1 plus 1 equals to 2. So dp will be looking like this. Now I will be equals to 2, val will be equals to 0, num will be equals to 3. Now j will start from 0, j is less than I, so condition becomes true. Now it will go and check the first condition if num percent j equals to 0. So what it is doing, so it is also becoming true because 3% 1 equals to 0, so the condition becomes true. Now we will check the second condition, val is less than dp's j index, so val equals to 0, dp's j index is 1. So the condition becomes true, so it will go into the further. Now val will be initialized with 1. Now val will be initialized with 1, and then parent's I index will be initialized with j, so it will be 1. Sorry, it will be 0. Before going into the loop, it will before only be 2, but after this operation it will become 0. Now what I will do after this, I will check that count max is less than max 1, but count max is 2 and val plus 1 is also equals to 2, so it will not go into the loop and update its value. Now what it will do again, now again it will go till here. Now j will be equals to 1, so 3% 2 is not equals to 0, so it will not update anything. Now again j will be updated, j will be 2, so here now j is less than 2, less than I, so the condition becomes false, so it will terminated and it will go till here. So it will be 3 now, I will be 3, val will be 0, num will be 6. Now j's will be 0. So if we check the condition, before this, for checking the condition we must initialize the parent will be here 3. Now j equals to 0, so j is less than 3, true. Now after this we will check the first condition, num percent which is 6% 1 equals to 0, so condition becomes true. Now after that I will check the condition, val is less than dp's I index, so what is the dp's j index will be, dp's j index will be 1, so 1 is less than 0, sorry 0 is less than 1, so the condition becomes true. So after that it will update val equals to 1, val will be updated with 1. So before entering into second loop, it will first initialize dp's indexes, so for that I have changed the dp's value. Now we will know that j equals to 1, now 6. Now it will check the second condition, 6% 2 is divisible is equals to 0, so the condition becomes true. Now it will go into the loop. Now what will be the value of val equals to 1, so 1 is less than dp's j index which is 2. Now the condition becomes true, so parent will be initialized with 1. Now again I will check this count max condition. Count max is here 2 and val plus 1 is also equals to 2, so it will not update count max and answer index. Now again the loop will start. Now val is before 1, now val will be updated with 2 because dp's j index is equals to 2. Now again loop will start and j will be equals to 2. Now for j equals to 2, now after this we will check one condition, num percent So first of all, we will check that 3 is divisible by 6 or not. So it is divisible by 6, so it will go into the loop. Now the second condition we will check, val should be less than dp's j index. So dp's j index is 2 and val is also 2. Now it will not go into the loop. So for this, nothing will be upgraded and j will be incremented by 3. Now the before condition, which is val is less than j, why it is helping? This is helping in this condition because 6 is divisible by 3 as well as 2, whereas these both elements have same number of condition or same number of sets. So we will not use any, we will use any of them. J is equals to 3, so 3 is not less than I. So 3 is not less than I, so the loop will be terminated. Now I will be equals to 4, val will be initialized with 0, num will be initialized with 8. Now similarly all the condition will be checked, and at the end what will be the values? So count max will be going to have stored 4 values. Now what it will store, it will store the last index, which is 12, which is 7. So answer index will store 7 as answer. So answer index will store this, count max will store 4, and at the end PA will be 0, 0, 1, and for 8 it will store 1, 1, for 9 it will store 2, for 10 it will store 1, for 12 it will store 3. So at the end PA will be this, count max will be equals to 4, and answer will be 7. Now after this there is no use of this dp and this all these variables, so we will use these 3 variables, PA, count max, and answer index. So what we will do, so now let's check the answer part. Now only the printing part left, how we will print or store the answer. So for this we will consider a answer and we will store all the elements in this. So for this we will use these 3 things, answer index, count max, and PA. So this will be the code which we will use, and we will use this nums index also. So first of all what we are doing is we are first directly inserting the answer index into the answer. So it will be 12, so 12 will be appended into the answer. So after this I am incrementing answer index, or I am changing the answer index by the value of answer index or the parent. So in this case the 7th index of PA or the parent will be initialized with answer index, so it will be 3. So answer index will be 3. Now what it will do, it will store 3rd index, so the 3rd index is 6. So after this again it will go into this and it will update by 3rd index, so 3rd index is 1, so it will be initialized with 1, and here we will insert the 3rd index, so 3rd index is now we will insert the 1st index, so 1st index is 2. Now after this we will again update it by 1st index, so it is 0. So after that it will again store the value by 1. Now the loop will iterate 4 times, so 4 times it occurred, and the answer will be 12, 6, 2, 4. So this is the solution, and after this we will return this answer. So let's submit the code. Now I'll go and submit the code. So I submitted the code and I got correct answer. So if I say more details, it is faster than 99.97% of the submissions in C++. So I think it is the fastest submission. So this is the solution for 13th question of June LeetCode challenge. Thank you guys. For more such content, like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe.